Hi, my name is Sarah Kino. Today I will be interviewing two different kids of different ages and asking what they know about mental health. For future reference, the definition of mental health I'm using is from mentalhealth.gov, and mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Mental illness, according to the American Psychiatric Association, is our health condition involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior. Alright, so first question, can you please give me your name, your age, and your grade?
Drake, I am in 3rd grade and I am 9.
Okay, Drake, what do you know about mental health? If I asked you to define it, how would you define it? So you don't know what mental health is?
No.
That's okay. Do you know what mental illness is? Okay. Have you noticed that any of your classmates are having a hard time mentally? Yes, you have. Do you want to describe that for me? What do you see?
This guy in my class, his name is Dylan, and he has a hard time in class because, usually he just sits in the back of the classroom playing games all day and watching YouTube,
Okay.
and he doesn't really do good.
Have you noticed that his behavior affects how he performs during school? Yeah. Do you want to describe that for me? Are his grades getting worse or anything like that?
Well, he's kind of different because he lives on a farm and it's kind of different. He hasn't lived in a real world.
Okay.
It's kind of hard for
Okay.
him.
Have you noticed that he feels affected by how he's performing? Or any of your classmates, do they feel affected mentally with their school performance?
No,
No? Okay. Does your school at all teach about mental illness?
no, I don't think so. Maybe in 5th or 6th grade.
And have you noticed that there is a difference among genders in how people are acting? Do you notice the boys and girls act differently?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have? Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have for you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Can you start by giving me your name, your age, and your grade?
I'm Anna, I'm 13 years old, I'm in 7th grade.
If I asked you to define mental health, how would you define it?
Your emotional state of being.
And if I asked you to define mental illness, how would you define that?
When there's something affecting your mental state and it's often unhealthy.
Okay, have you noticed any of your classmates having a hard time mentally?
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
One of my friends has depression. She has a hard time paying attention in class. She finds it hard to stay in a happy state of mind.
Do you find that any of your classmates have a difference in performance due to their mental state?
Yeah, she's often tired in class. She doesn't really feel like doing anything.
But do you notice this with any of your other classmates? Just anytime they're going through anything, their academic or social performances decline?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you noticed that any people with mental illness, they are feeling affected and it's really affecting how they're interacting with you, with their teachers? So not so much how it's affecting them academically, but socially as well.
Yeah, she has a hard time talking to other people. She has anxiety when it comes to that, and it started after she got diagnosed.
But do you notice it with people who aren't diagnosed too?
Yeah.
Okay. Does your school at all teach about mental illness or mental health?
No.
No. Have they said anything about it?
Sometimes they talk about how you may have it, but they don't elaborate or anything.
Okay. Have you noticed that certain students just have a hard time keeping up with what you're learning?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that there's a difference among gender? How different genders are affected mentally with different aspects of life?
Sometimes.
Okay, have you noticed puberty affecting mental illness? Have people's mental health declined after reaching this stage?
I don't know if their mental health's declining, but they definitely gotten more distant.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. That's all I have. So my first person, Drake, he is from the public school system. So Anna is from the private school system. So we were kind of able to see how the different schools teach mental health, mental illness, and we learned that both of them are not teaching it. So I will be having another person that I'm going to be interviewing to see how mental health plays a role in their academic teaching. Okay, so can you start by giving me your name, age, and grade?
I'm Mary, I'm 16 and I'm in the 10th grade.
Okay. Can you define for me what mental health is?
It's like your emotional and mental state of being and like the equality between them and how they affect you physically.
Okay. Can you define mental illness?
It's when there's an imbalance in one of them that affects your life and how you go about your day.
Okay. Have you noticed any of your classmates are having a hard time mentally?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Like a ton of them, almost all of my friends and like classmates have like depression or anxiety, and they have like a really hard time like getting motivation to do anything with their work, with like their life. A lot of people are like distancing themselves and just finding like things really hard to do.
Have you noticed a difference in academic performance?
Yes, a lot of them aren't performing like nearly as well as they used to do. Lots of like missing or late assignments.
Okay. Have you noticed any person who's being affected by mental illness, it's affecting their social life and their ability to interact with others?
Yeah, lots of people are like distancing themselves or finding it really hard to like reach out to people, including friends and family.
Have you noticed that they're just having a hard time keeping up, whether it's with school or with their friends, with their family, just everything?
Yeah, just generally.
Yeah. Have you noticed that there's a difference among genders? Like one gender tends to be more affected by one aspect of mental illness, and then the other gender is affected by a different aspect?
Yeah, I feel like men and boys have like a harder time with bottling everything up and can't be very vocal about their situation, what they're going through.
Have you noticed that puberty plays a role in mental health? Like when people are reaching that stage in life, it affects their mental.
Yeah, I think like around that age is when life starts getting like really hard. Like you go into high school, you have to like more think about your future, and there's just a whole bunch of different aspects that can affect it.
Does your school teach about mental illness at all?
Not really, no.
Not really, no. Have you noticed that as you've grown up, more and more people are getting mental illness, or would you say the rates have steadied out or they're declining? Like, how would you label it?
They've increased a lot.
Okay, that's my last question. Thank you. Thank you. So my last person, Mary, she attends a public high school with a population around a couple of hundred, so it's not too big, not too small. So having her perspective, even though she really isn't considered to be an adolescent anymore, it shows how mental illness is really affecting people because she's able to grasp the concept more clearly. So mental illness is a big problem. There is a big stigma surrounding it, and this needs to be improved or people will continue to do poorly.